Every empire swears its money is safe. Every government promises this time it's different. But history laughs at those promises. Welcome back to the Deep Lens of History. I'm Ava, and today we're joined by Dr. Marcus Grant, historian, economist, and someone who spent decades studying one chilling question. What happens when money dies?
Thanks for having me, Ava. You said it perfectly. When money dies, civilizations tremble. From Rome to Lebanon, from Florence to modern America, people have woken up to find their savings worthless and their future stolen, not by thieves, but by the very systems they trust.
That's so haunting. You mean collapse isn't rare? It's the rule.
Exactly. The real question isn't whether it happens, it's how you survive when it does. See, we make the same mistake every generation. We believe money is permanent, but money is just trust, and trust can vanish overnight.
Let's start ancient. What's the first big collapse that teaches us this lesson?
The Byzantine Empire. They had this coin called the solidus, a gold coin so pure, so trusted that for 700 years, it was like the US dollar of the medieval world. Merchants from Europe to Asia traded with it. But then greed crept in. Emperors began shaving its purity, mixing cheaper metals into gold.
So the same trick Rome pulled with silver centuries before?
Exactly. You'd think they'd learn, but no. Slowly, trust cracked. The solidus, once the rock of the Mediterranean economy, became just another political illusion. And when trust broke, trade collapsed. The survivors, the ones who held real gold or land outside the empire. Everyone else, their wealth evaporated.
When governments can print, they will. Real value always escapes paper promises. Now, let's jump to something unexpected, a pandemic. How does disease destroy or create wealth?
The Black Death of the 14th century. It killed half of Europe. Cities emptied, trade routes broke. It looked like the end of the world. But here's the twist. Survivors suddenly had leverage. Labor became precious. Wages rose. Land and food became cheap. Ordinary peasants could suddenly buy farms.
So out of tragedy came opportunity.
Exactly. It flipped the social order. And we saw the same pattern during COVID-19. Supply chains broke, governments printed trillions, and people with liquidity, savings, assets, bought homes and stocks at discounts while millions fell behind. Pandemics always redistribute wealth, always.
Too big to fail is a lie.
Yes. In the 1340s, Florence was the financial capital of Europe. The Bardi and Peruzzi families, powerful bankers, lent huge sums of king, especially Edward III of England. Then Edward defaulted, couldn't pay. Within months, those massive banks collapsed. Depositors were ruined.
So even 700 years ago, too big to fail wasn't real.
Right. Institutions don't exist to save you. They exist to profit. When they fall, they take you down with them. From Florence to Lehman Brothers in 2008. Same story, new century.
And America, it's had its own collapse, right?
Absolutely. During the Civil War, both the North and the South printed mountains of paper money. The North had greenbacks. The South had graybacks. At first, patriotic, then worthless. By the end of the war, Confederate money was trash. Families carried sacks of bills that couldn't buy bread.
So the real wealth was land, food, gold, not paper.
Exactly. America has already lived through a currency collapse. People just forgot.
Let's move to France. The Revolution and the assignats.
Oh, yes. In the 1790s, France printed paper money backed by confiscated church property. It sounded brilliant until they printed more and more. Soon, prices exploded. The paper became worthless. Farmers refused to sell food. Bread riots broke out.
That's terrifying. So again, the lesson, paper promises die, but real assets live.
Exactly. Gold, food, property, things governments can't print.
Fast forward to Asia in 1997. What happened there?
Thailand borrowed heavily in US dollars. When its currency peg broke, the Thai baht collapsed, and suddenly its dollar debt was unpayable. That crash spread to Indonesia, Malaysia, South Korea. Economies shrank, millions lost jobs, but the pattern stayed the same. Those holding dollars or overseas assets survived better.
So debt in someone else's currency is a death trap.
Precisely. When the storm hits, the debtor drowns first.
Now to something recent, Lebanon. This was shocking.
Yes. Between 2019 and 2021, Lebanese banks literally locked the door. People woke up to frozen accounts. Their money gone. The Lebanese pound lost over 90% of its value. Doctors, retirees, engineers wiped out overnight.
And the people who survived?
Those who had diversified, gold, land, or cash outside banks. Everyone else was trapped.
It's heartbreaking, but also a warning.
Absolutely, because 2008 and 2023 showed Americans the same truth. Banks can collapse faster than trust can rebuild.
All right, Marcus, the million-dollar question: how do we really protect ourselves?
There's no magic answer, but history gives us pattern. In Byzantium, gold. After the Black Death, liquidity. In Florence, independence from big banks. In the Confederacy, hard goods. In France, food and property. In Asia, no foreign debt. In Lebanon, get out before the doors close.
So protection isn't blind faith in governments, it's holding something real.
Exactly. Collapse rewards the doubters, not the loyalists.
But what about people with no wealth to begin with? What if someone has no gold, no land?
Brilliant question. The survivors of history weren't just the rich, they were the useful. The baker who could feed people, the craftsman who repaired tools, the farmer who could grow food. They didn't just survive, they thrived. Because when money loses meaning, value keeps skills alive.
So real wealth isn't just what you own, but what you can do.
Exactly. Real skills, real assets, real awareness. That's the trio that always survives the storm.
Marcus, this has been mind-opening. So, final words?
Every collapse is both tragedy and opportunity. For the unprepared, it's ruin. For the aware, it's a reset. When trust dies, value shifts from paper to the real. So the question isn't if everything falls apart. It always does. The question is, will you be holding promises or something real?
Powerful words. If this gave you a new way to see the world, hit subscribe because history has the answers and we'll keep showing you where to look.